Hello and welcome to our live review of the Germany-Japan game that has just finished. You're joining us on the Sports Gazette live. My name's Tom. I'm joined with George today. How are you doing, George?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Well, what we have just seen is an absolute shock, probably our second shot of the tournament, as Japan have beaten Germany 2-1. Goals in the second half came in the 72nd minute, so the 75th minute from Doan, and the winner came in the 82nd minute from Asano. George, how do you feel about the game we've just seen?
Shocked. I mean, in the first half, Germany were in complete control, had another offside goal themselves, but Japan came out in that second half. They came out fighting. Two brilliantly worked goals and thoroughly deserved the victory.
Yeah, unbelievable. So before the game, I think the biggest talking point was Germany's team photo. They covered their mouths in protest. Obviously, FIFA revealed late on Sunday night that the teams who wanted to wear the One Love armband would not be allowed to do so. Germany have taken a stand against that today, covered their mouths in protest. They put out a statement during the game that it was not anything political. They just wanted to, with or without the armband, keep their voice. What do you feel about that, George?
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the German national team. It makes England look really silly. England, Wales, whoever else has not failed to wear the armband. I think they should really take a lesson from Germany, really, especially with Iran as well, not singing the national anthem. I think England really need to take a lesson from Germany and Iran.
Yeah, it was great to see. We also found out late last night that Denmark are seeking legal action against FIFA for not being allowed to wear the armband. So it's going to be an interesting story as the tournament develops. But let's talk about the second half and what we just saw from the game. You were quite intrigued by the Germany substitutions, George.
Yeah, I think on the 70th minute, Müller came off and Hoffmann came on. And as soon as that happened, I felt like Germany really sat back and allowed Japan to play a few more 1-2s. The first goal was great. The second goal, fantastic touch and great finish past Neuer. So yeah, thoroughly deserved the victory. But I think Hansi Flick really made some poor substitutions, especially considering it was only 1-0 at the time.
Yeah, I agree. I think they definitely went far too defensive for how long there was left in the game. Did they end up going to the 5 at the back in the end, which you thought they might be?
I think so. I thought once the change was happening, I thought Hoffmann would be playing as a right wing back. He seemed like he was playing more as a right midfielder. But still, that central area, there was no real, like Musiala, I thought was really poor today. As soon as Müller came off, there was none of that creativity. As I said, Germany sat back a lot with Hoffmann on playing as right midfielder / right wing back. So I think, in my opinion, I think that really made the difference and allowed Japan to pile on the pressure towards the end.
Yeah, no, it was interesting decision making from the Germany manager. Let's talk about the goals. So the first one, the equaliser from Doan in the 75th minute. Obviously nicely saved by Neuer, but parried back into the middle of the box. This came sort of 3 minutes after Japan had another big chance, which was very similar when Neuer made the save, knocking the ball back into the box and was knocked over the bar. What did you make of sort of that?
Yeah, really, really nicely well worked goal. Lovely little intricate play, 1-2, and then Neuer, decent save, but should have palmed out. Reminded me a little bit of the Mendy goal against Netherlands earlier in the tournament. But Dohan was there on hand to slot it home, and very, very well-deserved equaliser.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you also mentioned already for the goal that gave Japan the lead, the great touch from the striker. It was Asano who came off the bench and scored in the 82nd minute. What did you make of sort of Germany's response after they went behind?
Pretty poor. You would think at that point they would control possession, pile on the pressure, but no, it was very static. Like they did start to control possession, but there was no real urgency to really win that game, and I think that's why Japan ended up getting that final goal.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought they played a lot of long balls, lots of crosses came to the box. Seemed to be corners and free kicks seemed to be their most sort of threatening attack, and yeah, they didn't get anything out of it. So let's dive into some of the stats that we saw throughout the game. It was mentioned on ITV commentary by Sam Matterface that Germany have not lost a World Cup game where they've been leading at half-time in the World Cup since 1978, which is an awfully long time. Massive result for Japan, and just shows how significant that could be in the group. Also, we also heard that both the goal scorers for Japan, that I found very interesting, play in the Bundesliga currently. So both the goal scorers play in the German league. Doan is currently at SC Freiburg, and Asano, who got the winner, is at VfL Bochum. George, what stats did you able to pick up during that
what I found quite interesting, I was just looking at the XG towards the end. It finished Germany with 3.27 to Japan's 1.80. So it was quite interesting. Even though Japan had a couple of well-worked goals, it showed that Germany was still dominant towards in possession. And I thought I tried to highlight Kimmich as well. In the first half, his accurate passes was above 90%. That did, however, drop towards the end, which shows how they lost control, really, compared to what they were in the first half.
Yeah, no, great stuff. So that definitely shows that we're only 4 days into the World Cup and we've already seen 2 very shock results. As we've got a bit of time left, we'll delve into tomorrow's games. Obviously, Kieran and Jack covered plenty of the rest of what's going on the rest of the day and reviewed what we've seen so far. So tomorrow, Group G gets started. First game of the day, we've got Switzerland versus Cameroon at 10 o'clock. Does that game intrigue you at all, George?
Yeah, it's an interesting group. I think Brazil are the favourites to win that group. But for second place, I think it's any money. I think a lot of people have Serbia as their dark horses, but that particular game, I think that could be quite interesting. Breel Mbolo's in form. Xhaka as well, one of Arsenal's main man. So if I had to call a prediction, I'd probably just go Switzerland, maybe by two goals to 1. But expect anything, as we've seen in this game.
Yeah, this could be a tough game to call. Cameroon aren't quite the team that they would have been about 15 years ago. They don't quite have the big names. Obviously, you touched on the other game in that group, Brazil versus Serbia. Another very interesting game. Brazil, the favourites to many people in this tournament. How do you reckon they're going to start?
Good. I'm expecting them to start very well. France yesterday, I think, have been the team of the tournament. I think to judge who's going to win so far, I think I need to see Brazil. I think I need to see, because that front line is absolutely amazing. I'm expecting to see Neymar. I'm expecting to see Anthony. I'm expecting to see Vinicius Jr. I'm expecting to see Richarlison. Those names just reel off the tongue. There's a slight weakness with their fullbacks. But across the field, their depth is just incredible.
Oh, 100%, yeah, their attack and their midfield are just terrifying. Yeah, but as you said there, their fullbacks still relying on people like Danilo, Alexandro, even Dani Alves is in the squad still, which could be a weak point, but having such a strong attack could definitely make them the threat that everyone thinks they're going to be. The other games tomorrow take place in Group H. 1 o'clock kickoff is Uruguay and South Korea, and then we'll move on to Portugal versus Ghana in the evening. Uruguay, another team that a lot of people seem to think will go far in this tournament. What have you made of what you've seen from them?
Yeah, I think Uruguay have a fantastic midfield. I mean, Valverde's in top form at the moment, player from Real Madrid, has scored a lot of fantastic goals already this season. And Bentancur has been arguably one of Tottenham's best players. I mean, I thought he was a deep line playmaker, but he's managed to carry the ball forward really well. Darwin Núñez, a lot of people have him as the Golden Boot winner, but which I'm not too sure about. Maybe he scored a couple of goals towards the end of this, towards the midpoint of the season, but I still don't think he's quite in that Golden Boot category. But still a good team. You still have a lot of old faces. You've got Luis Suarez, you've still got Edison Cavani coming towards the end of their career. I think they'll be good. I think they will get out of that group, but I don't think they'll get much further than that.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Certainly, they're an interesting team to watch. Their opponent, South Korea, obviously their main man, Heung-min Son, comes into the tournament as a slight injury doubt, but it has been said that he is ready to go. Do you think they can cause any damage in Group H at all?
I mean, if Son's not 100%, then I don't think they stand too much of a chance. They have a couple of decent players, but when Son's not 100% fit, I think they'll really struggle. I mean, I would expect Uruguay to beat them. Maybe not too comfortably. There may be a few stages, especially if Son is on the pitch, he's always a threat. But I fully expect Uruguay to come out on top.
Yeah,
probably
100%.
Probably 2-0 victory, I'm saying.
Agree with you there. So the other game obviously that we touched on was Portugal and Ghana. Portugal coming to the tournament with their main talking point being their star man Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously that bombshell interview with Piers Morgan dropped start of this week. And obviously every single question, it seems, for any Portugal player in the media has been their opinion on that. Do you think that's going to affect them at all in this tournament?
I don't see why it can't really. I think another talking point with the Ronaldo situation is his match fitness. He's not. I don't think he's 100% up. He hasn't started too many games this season. Of course, he's Cristiano Ronaldo. He comes up to these tournaments and he performs. That's what he does. But he's getting on a bit now. Does he have one last tournament in his legs?
Yeah, I agree with you there. Obviously, they've got some very good players to back him up. Obviously, with Bernardo Silva, with Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Leao playing in his first tournament as well. Very intrigued to see how they're going to line up, how they're going to attack the game. Moving on to their opponents, Ghana. They've got some very interesting names going to this tournament. Obviously, both Ayew brothers are still there. You've got Thomas Partey in the middle, and then some interesting names from players who maybe wouldn't have played for Ghana before. Inaki Williams, who previously declared as Spanish, and Tariq Lamptey, who had played in the England under-21 setup. How do you reckon they're going to do in Group H?
Yeah, they may compete. I think they're slightly better than South Korea. They may compete with Uruguay, but in terms of them versus Portugal, I don't think so. I think one person to look out for is Mohamed Kudus who plays for Ajax. From what I've seen this year, he's been absolutely fantastic. I think Everton were in for him in the summer, but I mean, I think he's far and away ahead of Everton standards. I mean, his creativity on the ball, scored a great goal against Liverpool, so he's my one to watch for the Ghana team.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so looking ahead now to Friday, obviously as we are both England fans, we can't not talk about the England-USA game that's coming up. What are your thoughts going into it?
Yeah, I mean, we played absolutely fantastically against Iran. Creativity was absolutely on point. There's a part of you in the back of your mind thinking, oh God, is it gonna come home? But on the right side of your brain, you're thinking it's gonna come home, definitely. But no, I think the USA will provide a lot tougher test than Iran. There was a lot of space in midfield, which I think USA will not allow. They've got a great midfield. McKennie, you've got Tyler Adams, you've got Yunus Musa, who played decent against Wales. So I think it'll be a lot tighter game. I'm still confident that I'm slightly worried about Harry Kane. I think you told me just before we got on air that he is going to be fit for the USA game, but if he's not 100%, then I'm not sure if I would risk him. But we should, even if Harry Kane's there, Harry Kane's not there, I'm still confident that would be the USA.
Yeah, that was the big talking point this morning, the injuries. Obviously, Harry Kane went into today undergoing a scan on an ankle problem. Also been reported that both Callum Wilson and Raheem Sterling are undergoing some sort of overlooked for some knocks. But it was revealed, as George mentioned, by Henry Winter, that they will be ready to go for the game. I just wanted to ask you, George, well, if Harry Kane wasn't fit, and even if Callum Wilson wasn't available, maybe I'll throw Sterling in there as well. What would your front three be for England if those three weren't available?
If Sterling Kane and Callum Wilson were not available, doesn't leave me too many options, really. I think Saka is someone to highlight. I think he was absolutely fantastic. He's been brilliant for Arsenal this season. He'd definitely be in there. It'd be nice to see Foden get a few more minutes. He's been very good for City this season. For me, I'd quite like to see him play a bit more central. I feel like he's a little bit wasted on the left or the right hand side. I feel like when David Silva left, I thought he would be the ideal replacement to play in that number 8 position. So for me, I would quite like to see him maybe in a bit more of a central position, maybe replace Mason Mount, see how that goes. But yeah, that's how it would go.
It would be interesting, but yeah, hopefully all three of them are available, and Gareth Southgate is able to put his strongest side out. Another question going into the game would be, will he stick to that back four or will he revert to that back five? Obviously, it was reported before the tournament that Kyle Walker would be ready for this game. Do you think Gareth brings him in, or maybe he throws a Ben White in there to reassure himself at the back? Or do you reckon he's going to stick to that attacking back four that we saw work so well against Iran?
I mean, for me personally, I would like to see that back four. It worked so well. Mason Mount, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, all absolutely fantastic working together, especially with a midfield three with McKennie, Adams and Musa. I think we need to match their midfield three. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a very interesting evening. We will touch briefly on the other game in that group that's happening that morning, Wales versus Iran. Obviously a massive game for Wales, getting that point against the USA earlier this week. Do you think they will have enough to beat Iran, or do you reckon Iran will be able to sort of wake up a little bit after their poor performance?
I think Wales will have enough. I'm waiting to see a little bit more from Bale. I thought he was quite poor against the USA. Didn't really get too much involved. Obviously scored the penalty, but the real threat for Wales was Kiefer Moore. As soon as he came on, big physical presence, running down the channels. He was absolutely fantastic. As for Iran, they have some good players. Taremi scored a couple of goals against us, so he's definitely one to look out for. But I would say I'm going to go 2-1 Wales. I think they'll come through.
Yeah, I agree as well. Hopefully we'll both be able to get the win, and we can go into that third game where Wales plays England, and we'll be able to just sit back, get the draw, both go through, happy days. England top the group,
easy stuff,
and go all the way to the final and bring the tournament home. So just as a wrap up, we will go back to the game that we watched today. Big shock, Japan beating Germany 2-1. 4 days into the tournament, it's the second big shot of the tournament. Do you reckon we're going to see many more of these over the next few weeks, George?
I'm sure we will. I'm looking forward to seeing Belgium, especially this evening, with an ageing squad. I think there's a lot of question marks about there. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne is still a fantastic player, but Romelu Lukaku not fit. They're going to start Batshuayi. Question marks there. Hazard, is he 100% fully fit? Is he the same guy that he was at the 2018 World Cup? So I think I'm still looking forward to seeing Belgium to see how are they that same side, or have they dropped off?
Yeah, it will be very interesting. Hopefully Canada can spring that surprise. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We'll leave you at that. Joining the Sports to Get, please tune in again for any other live updates we have on the World Cup, and we'll see you again very soon.